Today we're gonna tie this fly. It's a fly with my own magic minnow type of head. I have made this fly because I want a fly that is easy to tie. I make use of all my materials. I have a lot of this tubing lying around. So I tried some magic heads in the past, but they're hard to come by and pretty expensive, if you might say so. So I want to make my own. That's all what fly tying is about for me. So I made this fly. It swims very good. It have a lot of movement and it shines. And well, you see, here it is. Nice, huh? So see how I tie this fly. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you a little about the materials of this fly. I have been using this kind of hook in I'm gonna find the right size. It's an off-brand hook, but I've used it in several years, so here it is. Very sharp hook. So you have to find your own, use your own hook with a large hook gap. Okay. The tail is made of a grizzly cape I have. Don't ask me what this brand, maybe a Metz or something. It's old. I have had it for maybe 25-30 years. So it still works like a charm. And for the body I use some long fibered crystal chenille. And for the gills I use some flashy dubbing. You can use whatever kind of dubbing you have, but it's an advantage that is it is long fibered. Okay. And for the head I use this kind of tubing like that, and I cover it all up with my trusted Gorilla Glue. When it cures, it stays a little flexible and it's very solid. And I use this for attaching to my thread wraps to make it stay there. You can use easy Sapagap or whatever you might want to use. Super glue does the trick. And I used some mono thread for this because it becomes invisible. I like that. I have shitloads of it. I can show you. I have this very large spoon, 10,000 meters. Well, that might do for the evening. And well, that's about all, folks. So follow on and see how I tie this fly. Okay, let's start tying this fly. Start off with attaching my thread. Snip it off. And I take my easy body tubing, push it into the hook, make it go somewhere about that. Why that I'm gonna tell you later. Okay. And make a hand whip finish now. And snip it off. Push it down. You can also push it on the hook like that. Now you attach your thread again and make it go around, spindle like that. Don't worry about the frays, you're gonna cut them off afterwards. Okay, see what I've been doing. Now you take your scissor and just cut them off, all of them. I'm gonna use this method because I'm short of supply here. Like that. You can also just push it aside, push it back, clean that up, and take some whip finish. Like that. Tug on it so it stays there. You're gonna super glue this afterwards, so, and try how this magic head works. I think that was perfect match. You can reach the hook out there. See what I mean? Now I take my super glue. First of all, I peel it back. I take one sip on that thread wrap and push it forwards, and I take a little dab on the last thread wrap just to make it stay there. This is gonna seep in and make this fly very solid. Okay, now I'm gonna put on some feather to make this fly swim. And I take out a couple of those. You might fit this fly. Snip it off the hide, or the pelt, or what you might call it. Find two ones. They're the same size. Match it. If you want to have it swim, you can take one on each side. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make it fairly long. Snip it off, but I have to adjust the length so both of them is gonna be the same length. So where I do that, I pair them, put them over each other, and snip it off, and take out some of the fibers, and make the natural curvature of the feather. You have to tie this fly with the blank, tie this feather on the blank side in, the shiny side in, so it will point outwards, and try to attach it on the side like that. Maybe some more backwards because I'm gonna have some chenille on this body. You can, it's much easier if you had some body material on this, but you have to go a little around because I'm tying with the so I have to change the tactics here. I have to use the pinch method, make it stay on top. Well, let it go down there. The pinch method seemed to work better than the previous one. Okay. This is a mono thread, so I don't want it to slip, so I use some super glue on the thread wrappings like that, and I'm gonna attach some very buggy chenille. Start with a tie-in back on the feather, because I'm gonna stop it with the Magic Minnow variant head. Try not to cover the feather, because then the position of the feather will tend to change. Now you can use your fingers to preen this feather of fibers backwards. You can go up onto the head portion of this fly, like that, and tie it off. And I see if I can have some nice end with this. I think that's gonna do it, but I'm gonna have some more flash on this, so I'm gonna take some flash and tie it in, dub it in on the top of this chenille in the front to make it look like gills. I got this very nice long fibered dubbing from Starburst, from Fly Touch Dungeon. I don't quite know what brand it is, but I bought it from Fly Touch Dungeon. I peel off the label because it doesn't matter anymore what the name is. So I just start with wrapping some over this end here and make a whip finish. And over this, don't mind about this fiber, I'm gonna cut it off later on, like this. Snip it off, and the tying part is done. Now I'm gonna take my comb or dubbing needle, just tear out some fibers back into the chenille to make an illusion of the gills. And now I'm gonna snip this baby off, because now I'm gonna take some glue onto this to make it stay there. It will push some water, but not quite, because this is holes in this. I got to have to cover it up. So I'm gonna find a little piece of paper, put that in my desk, onto my desk, and take my trusty Gorilla Glue, or if you can use some epoxy, 5-minute epoxy. Place a little dab on the paper, and I'm gonna take my dubbing needle, here it is. I'm gonna cover this up. The beauty of this Gorilla Glue is it is flexible. If you might hear some sound in the background, is my wife baking for the Christmas. Christmas is getting very near now. I like this viscosity of this glue because it's a bit thick, so it will not go through this material and into the hook eye. You have to be very aware of that. And continue to make this fly. See, there is a straggler. I have to take my scissor, just snip this off. I don't want it in my head. You don't want any stragglers in your head. Will mess up your whole everything. Well, you might say, why doesn't I buy Mark Petitjean's Magic Minnow? The answer to that is, I want to make my own. Why do you do that? Because I can. Just because I can. And because I want to share this idea with you, and also for myself, by putting it on the YouTube channel, then it will stay there, so I can also go back and look at it afterwards. Well, guys, here you have it. This gonna go onto the drying wheel. It's gonna cure. It's gonna be fantastic. This is very simple design. So I'm gonna show you in the front here, like that. So you see the hook eye. Place the thread there. This fly is gonna wiggle, 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 and move very nice in the water. So I see the glue has not been running in through into the hook eye, so I maybe don't have to put it on the dry wheel. Well, I have to see about that. Well, a little about the idea of this fly is that you have this long feather on the back. You can always change that to other materials, but when you pull on this fly, it goes back, and the placement of the feather is gonna make this very movement. And you have all these materials on the chenille, and you have the red gills that imitates, and this magic head imitation, it will make this fly move a lot of water, and it's gonna be very nice to have. You see, I'm very fond of this idea. I can make use of this tubing. I have this little left now. Of course, if you have large tubing, you can make larger head. But I think that's gonna do for me, and I have also some smaller ones. So I have one right here. You see, that is a little bit smaller, but I can manage, and I can always get some larger one. I have some in pearl as well. Well, that's all I had for you folks. So thank you all for watching my videos, and I welcome you back to see my next. And it is closing up to Christmas, so I have to say Merry Christmas to everybody. And this is gonna be posted just before Christmas, so happy tying to you all, and tight lines. Bye bye.